Small Talk.
Uh-oh.
Tough love in the home, right? And I'm
Mhm.
talking specifically about Black families.
Mm.
We feel like tough love is implemented a lot more in Black families, or what we define as tough love to our children growing up.
Mhm.
We do it more, right?
Mhm.
So we were on a pod and we were talking and a clip was playing. Yes, I'm gonna say this every opportunity I get because I was mad, y'all. I was mad for like I'm still mad. Like, and this happened almost
Hey,
a
look,
year ago.
clearly.
I done sat up.
You don't have to convince us. We believe you.
The passion is crazy.
Back
We
in
don't
wait,
want no smoke.
it was a year ago, right? We had done mad episodes, like
Oh,
a
wow.
lot of episodes with
Yeah.
this individual. Everything was
Yo,
cool.
Brittany,
Everything
like,
was great.
Brittany, you have to let go of that hurt. Come on, like, what's going on? You gotta let that go.
No, let me ask, because listen,
Okay,
maybe
now I'm
maybe
getting,
I'll
now
get
I'm
some
getting
clarity.
screamed
Maybe I'll get a breakthrough tonight, right?
on. Okay, all right.
We watched y'all seen Fences with Denzel
Yep.
Washington?
Oh,
Okay.
absolutely.
Great
So we
movie.
watched the particular clip where the son walks outside and he was like, "Dad, you don't like me," and Denzel went off like you, I don't gotta like you, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
blah,
Oh
blah,
yeah, he
blah.
went crazy.
Yeah.
He went crazy.
Yeah.
After watching that clip, it ends with the son going back into the home where the mom was in the kitchen like doing something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they shut it there. And we talked about like tough love. That was an example of tough love in the home.
Mm-hmm.
They went on to say, dads have a responsibility to show tough love to their son. Why? Because the world is not going to like you. The world is not going to accept you for who you are. And if you don't get it at home, you're not going to get it on the outside. Mom's job is to console you and to love you. I said, pause.
No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
I want to hear the rest of it.
Asia, correct me if I'm wrong, because I could be saying this wrong, because I was heavy in my feelings, because I was like, no, we're not doing that. Because I felt like it is not solely a mother's job to only show love in the home. I get the point that he was trying to make. America is not going to love you. We living in a world where it's not cut out for us. We all know that, right? Systemically, racism exists, that it is what it is. We are on the struggle bus when we are pushed out of the room, and our womb and our skin color is this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's fine. Teach your son, especially son. This is where, as a mom, as a woman, I can't tell you all the key things because I am not a Black male, but I am a Black woman. Protect Black women. That's real too, right?
It is real. Oh, I want to go first too. But it's real.
My question is, when we're implementing tough love in our homes, do y'all think that it's true that we have to almost take love out of the equation to show them what it's like in reality outside of those doors? Is that a father's role?
I think as a father, I don't think you need to take love out of it. I don't disagree to a certain extent what Denzel was saying. I disagree on how he was putting it.
Yep.
What he was saying was very valid, very true. But where he messed up at.
You might as well keep going now. Like, why you gonna stop now?
Right.
Yeah, that was some stupid shit. My bad. Where he fucked up at is that, like, you can tell your child that, but your child doesn't need to hear or feel that from you. They're gonna experience that in the world already. We get that. He's like putting his experiences of what he felt on his child, which makes his child in turn feel alone. Like, yes, I do get it's a world out here where it's bad, like you're not gonna get love, but no child should feel no love from their home. That's their core. That's the place where they should feel love. Denzel's message was not bad to me, but his delivery on like, yeah, I do this, I provide for you, I do. Yeah, we get all that. You're doing what the fuck you're supposed to do. We get that. Like, let's not list the stuff you're supposed to do. But the one thing you forgot, you neglected is if you know that the world is not going to show your son love, you should be the one to show him more love and let him know that this is a safe haven for you. That's my
I agree with that. I agree with that. One thing I'll say, I love Fences. I think what I found liked at the end of that is that his intentions were good in doing that with his son and reacting that way. His intentions were good. He just didn't know how to give him that I think that tough love is important, but we can't remove the vulnerability of it. I think that in a Black household, the tough love is always there, but they never make themselves, or they don't make themselves vulnerable. I think if you're going to be tough, you got to give an explanation. You got to give people the tools. You can tell me about the world. You can demonstrate how the world is tough. Well, show me how to navigate through it too. Don't just tell me how it's hard. You got to give me the tools and give me information on how to navigate in these spaces. So I'll share my personal experience. So I was my son's football coach this season. And every parent enjoyed me as a coach except one. You want to take a wild guess who it was? My wife. My wife was not a fan of my coaching.
Oh shit.
All right. And there was a game where my son had a bad game. Like, he dropped a pass, and I took him right out the game. I was like, get over there with your mom, boy.
God damn, Lewis, like his mom, one pass?
Oh yeah, look, when his mom, he asked his mom, he said, "Mom, can I ride home with you? I don't want to ride home with Dad."
Oh shit, Lord.
And look, then after the game, him and I were in the car. I was like, after I got done fussing at him and getting on him, I was like, son, so what? But then I took the coach hat on, right? And I talked to him. I said, hey man, what were you thinking when you dropped that pass? He was like, boy, my dad sure is gonna be upset with me. And I was like, you're right. But then afterwards, I explained to him, hey son, the reason why I took you out, the reason why I'm this way with you is because I'm not gonna always be your coach. You may not get as many chances to catch a wide open ball like that again, so you got to take advantage of it, right? My wife, she came home, she was like, Louis, you've been too hard on Jada, maybe the boy don't get it. I'm like, baby, I got to be hard. You don't understand. This is how it is, okay? I got to teach this boy, right?
Yo, chill, Louis.
Yeah, I was like, no, this boy got to get it. But to the next game, same thing. He caught a pass, scored a touchdown. Like, he didn't do it anymore. So there's value in that. Like, I got to be tough on him. Like, I just feel like I'm obligated with my son to be tough. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just in the DNA of a father, but I feel like I have to be tough on him. But I also am obligated to explain to him the why. If I'm not giving him the why and I'm not making myself vulnerable, and it made me feel good that he could say, hey man, my dad's not gonna like this. If we laughed about it, so I'm glad that we had that dynamic, but it didn't change how I coached him. Like, and it's not.
So to the fence thing, I actually disagree a little bit with. I think the problem with the fence thing, I think that conversation can be had. I think he could say that to his son. I think the issue with the fence thing is that Denzel wasn't he was only a provider in that instance. Like, if that was a conversation from a balanced dad to his son, you may have that conversation. But I think the fact that that son's experience with his dad was that whole conversation explains his entire life experience with his son, made that conversation way worse, because that's the only person that he knew his dad to be. Yeah. He never, ever experienced anybody else. Now, as far as tough love, my son is really young. My wife thinks sometimes my tone gets too stern with my son now. I think with tough love, I think it's a thing for me that I need to show you how I feel the world, how I experience the world. And I just need to make sure you know that I'm behind you when this happens. So I think tough love has to be intentional to the point where, like, listen, I'm doing this because I love you. You are not going to like me, but at the end, you will respect the result you get. And I can say that before I'm about to go be mean. Yep. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, look, bro, this week, when we do this when we studying for your homework, you're not going to like the methods. I tell my kids some of that when I'm teaching sometimes. Hey, look, y'all, this week ain't going to be fun, but I guarantee if you pay attention, you're going to get what you need to get from it. I think we as parents be trying to play too many games, and we try to make it like, well, not us, but most parents, like with us, it was a mind game. And so it's like, hey, look, bro, when it comes to this whole how you treat young ladies, I'm never going to be with this, that, and the third. It ain't going to change. I'm going to tell you why I'm not with it. And when you do that, this is the reaction you're going to get. So don't be mad when you get this reaction, because I'm telling you what not to do. Mm-hmm. And then, like, I think it's that part of Denzel just wasn't balanced at all. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that generation parents did them way worse than our parents did us.
Yeah. I agree.
So what did the person say that made you mad?
Because
I
so
agree.
y'all touched on a couple of things. I think it's
Yeah,
important.
Brittany's still mad, but go ahead.
I think no, I'll forever be, and he knows that. Like every time he clicked back on, I was like, so we gonna talk about this
every time we see him. Britt be like,
I don't back down.
You said,
Yo, Brittany, first of all, chill with all the smoke though. Like, what's up with that?
No, because you're not. So key things that y'all said was tone and delivery, right? Tone and delivery for Denzel was it was bad, all around bad. What I didn't like is that this person not only did not acknowledge that, but said that if you want the emotional side of it, or if you want somebody to love you or to give you a hug, you know, because you're facing something that Black men actually face, go to your mama. And it's, for me, I was like, you don't have to go, you shouldn't have to go to, yes, come to your mom. Mom's always going to be mom, right? We're nurturers, we're naturally that. But I feel like Black men especially go through so much mentally. Y'all can't cry. Y'all can't go to therapy. Y'all can't feel you gotta, you know, what you need to feel, resiliency all the time. Like, no, like y'all are entitled to your emotions. You're entitled to feel this way. And coming from a father, I think the delivery, if it was, yo, son, like, hold up, man up real quick. You're not gonna like what I'm about to say, but this is reality. This is what it is. And to Keenan's point, I support you. This is going to happen. And this is how I'm going to support you through this hardship. Not, I don't have to like you. Denzel legit said, I don't have to like you. I am not here to like you. I don't have to like you. If you want to be liked by someone, go to your mama. And this.
But Brittany, a lot of that has to do. But Brittany, a lot of that has to do with the age too, though. The way he grew up. And the environment that he grew, the time period that he grew up in, they had to have that tough skin. Yep. Like, you didn't have time, like you said, to be like deciphering your feelings and feeling like you didn't have time for that, because at the end of the day, in his age group, if you didn't like develop that type of mentality, your ass would get walked over.
Yep.
Right.
Like, so I understand where he was coming from, but what we don't understand, and I think what Keenan Lewis was alluding to, is you have to evolve with time. That might have been good for you in the 60s. That don't work in the 80s. That don't work in the 90s. That don't, like, that's what people don't understand. And that's the same thing with like anything else. Like, yes, it may have worked. I'm not saying it doesn't work. That worked then. This is now. Try to understand your child and be like, I get you may not like this, but nobody told me this, and this is why I'm telling you this.
Right.
He didn't do that.
But I think for our generation, two things. So, but Brittany, you really not gonna like what I'm about to say. But I'm gonna say this.
Shit.
That last part, that's not technically wrong.
That's not wrong. I agree.
It's technically, what you said is
what's not
technically
wrong?
wrong.
What's not wrong?
When you were like, I don't have to like you.
Yeah.
That is not technically
that's
wrong.
Not wrong.
I'm not saying I would say it. I'm not saying I would say it. But that's not, bro. If you
being real.
Because there are plenty of parents that have had children that they don't understand where it went wrong, and it's like, yo, what is this? This is so. I'm not saying I would say it, but that part isn't wrong. Out of the whole speech, that might have been the most like the whole go to your mama thing. I'm not saying, but the whole like, you know, I don't have to like, I don't. That's not necessarily wrong. But what I was gonna say is,
when you say necessarily though, why don't you have to like your child?
You don't have to.
Because that's why I think parents.
No, I'm not saying you don't have to. I'm just saying, why don't you have to like your child though?
No, I don't think. I think you don't have a choice in loving them. Like is a different thing. Yep. I don't think you control who you like. You can experience somebody and don't like the vibe they put off, and naturally you don't like that.
No, I get that, but we're talking about your child. How don't you like your child?
They're a person too. There's an element.
They're a human. That's where we go wrong.
Human being, right?
I didn't say where we go wrong. I'm just saying, like in our scenario, like you were saying, how could you mentally not like your child?
Because they're human.
Yeah, I don't get. First of all, like has nothing to do with
y'all
So
what could your child do for you not to like them?
I don't get. That's a hard question to answer.
Yeah, anything other person.
I didn't say it was a hard question. I'm just asking a question. I never said it was hard.
Hold on, Jay.
I'm asking y'all a question.
So there are one thing I learned as a parent is that kid, even though they come from you, you raise them a certain way, they're gonna make their own decisions and do whatever they want as a human being. So the same way you could not like another human being, you could not like your kid, even though you love them. I got family members I don't like. but I love them because they're my family members. You know what I'm saying? So
But I think it's not liking what they're doing in the moment. I mean, it's one thing to say like I don't like
I'm
children.
not saying it's wrong.
Right. But then to say like, so I mean, I don't know if Jay agrees with this or not. I'm just having a difficult time understanding that concept too. Because if I say I don't like children, I don't like kids, period. Whether they're mine, the next door neighbor, whatever. But to say that I don't like my child, but I love them, or because I have to love them because they came from me, that's where I find, like, how do you, like he was saying, like, how do you say
separate
that
the
you
two?
don't like your
Okay,
child?
I'm sorry.
That though, because the more I think about it, and for those that know, I like watching TikToks, right? And I see actually a lot of people that, you know, they have sex, right? They have kids. They don't necessarily like what their kid meant for them, meaning that they now have responsibility. They don't like that. Okay. Let's say they don't have a good relationship with the other half, right?
Right.
That's the reason why they don't like their kid, because their kid is a constant reminder. They can't do the things that they used to do prior to becoming a parent. They don't like their kid, or if their kid is just weird. I mean, let's talk about it, right?
Yep.
That's real shit. That's real shit.
Some kids don't understand, right? And I'm coming from the fact of like, I work with kids every day, and there's a lot of times I'll be like, oh,
yep.
yeah,
why?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And it's true because even thinking, right? And I'll even go to this. Think about newborns, right? Just in general, like as soon as they come out, okay? There are some people, okay, that will say, oh, all newborns, they're just so precious and they're so beautiful. I've seen some ugly newborns.
Factual.
That's
a fact.
And that's a fact. It's not to say that they're not a precious miracle.
That's attractive.
No. She was right. There's some motherfucking ugly kids.
But it's true.
That's attractive.
And it doesn't mean that, right? And it doesn't take away from the miracle. It does not take away from them being precious. But do they look a little different in the face? Yes. You know what I'm saying?
But Asia, what we're saying is this though. Let me ask you this, Asia.
Yes, please.
You can say that about kids, right?
I can, yeah.
Right? Can you say that about your kid?
Here's the thing. I'm the wrong person to ask. Don't have those.
No, I know you don't have
yes,
them. What
Jay,
I'm saying,
absolutely.
But if I did, can I be honest?
I'm not saying you can't. I'm just asking her.
I've had this conversation.
I don't want no problems.
I've had this conversation, and I've seen it in my family, right? So, for instance, yeah, I could say it. I don't care. They could see me about it. So, for instance, I know for a fact. Yeah, I mean, I said what I said, right?
Uh-oh.
But like, for instance, me and my dad, very close. Part of that is because we have very similar personalities, right? We click. Me and my dad can talk about things, and we just get each other. I don't know, we just vibe out. Like that's my boy, right? I like my dad, right? I know my dad likes me. There have been times. I know for a fact my brother does not listen to this pod, and that's why I can say this with confidence. There are multiple times where my dad will call me. He's like, I just don't get him. Not because of something that he's done, not because of anything like that, but there are literal moments where my father is like, I just don't understand. I just don't get him. A lot of times my dad does not like him. Does not mean that he's not going to be there as his father, right? It doesn't.
But Asia, whoa. I don't mean to cut you off. I don't think that not getting and understanding your child is not liking them. I think it's just literally you don't get and understand them in that moment. Not liking somebody, to me, how it comes off is like you don't like who they become. You don't like what they are at the moment. You can dislike what's going on and not understand it. But when you say I don't like a kid, I don't see how a parent doesn't like a kid. You can not understand them and not get it, but how the
Jay,
fuck
but don't take
your kid.
But hold on though.
Your kid, you produce your kid.
But don't take that out of context though. First of all, he was talking to what, a 16, 17, 18-year-old?
Yeah, okay, I think it was 18 at the time, I think.
When the words were, I don't have to like
you.
Right.
Yep.
So don't take it out of context of just saying like, oh, my very unpopular opinion. There are situations and there are opportunities if your child is just repeatedly and again, in the context of the movie, his son wasn't doing anything to warrant that conversation. So I understand that, but what Jay was asking, like liking your kid, I wholeheartedly believe your child can do things where you just at a point like, bro, like, I'm gonna be here. I love you. Like, I don't like the person you've become at all. I don't like the person you've become. And that's not a momentary thing. You have reproven that you are this person over and over. And if you did it one time, I didn't like that. That's the situation where like, okay, let's see. But if you continuously do whatever this thing is, like, yo, I didn't. The first thing we say as parents, I didn't raise you to be that way, and I don't like the person you've become. Because I didn't teach you.
He said neither. He said, I don't have to like you. He said neither. That makes sense.
So I think
that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And I think the point that's being, or what I'm getting from this that's being missed is it's more about like the traits and characteristics and what's going on in the moment that you may or may not like, you know, like you said, if you continuously doing something, that's a person that you become. But this boy said, he went outside and said, Dad, why don't you like me? And his response was, I don't have to like you, you know, and then he went on his spiel. And I feel like you don't, how do you tell your child, I don't have to like you, you know, and then you're trying to quote unquote teach tough love. Like, how can we jump from like to love, but you're telling me that you don't like me? Like, what is it about me that you don't like? I feel like everything that you guys have said is absolutely true. Absolutely true, right? I don't like you in the moment. I don't like what you're doing. I don't like who you've become. However, as my child, I don't feel like it's right, or I don't think I've ever experienced a parent, and I've worked in child welfare for a very long time, that has turned to their child and said, I don't like you, without disconnecting themselves from that child completely. Like, I don't think I don't know if you can raise a child you don't like.
But he didn't say that he didn't like you. He said, I don't think the commitment you make as a parent is always centered around like, is what I think the context of that specific thing is.
Mm-hmm.
Technically. Because the reason why I think like is so pivotal in that conversation, because that's not love. Like is a very, you know what I'm saying? Like, you may like
preference. Like is preference.
You know what I'm saying?
It is.
So,
I get what y'all saying.
I don't think you like. I don't think that's a part of.
But I get what y'all saying.
It doesn't have to be, because he said I don't have to. It doesn't have to be a part of the parenting equation at all.
Right.
And you can still be a great parent.
Okay,
and
we get he doesn't have to like him, Sneak.
Say again?
Sneak, we get he doesn't have to like him,
mm-hmm.
right? We get that. We get he doesn't have to like him. What we're saying is him saying that shit was beneficial. How? What did he get and move to his son in that moment? What the fuck did saying that do for his son?
I mean, that was a great way to twist that, because that's not what you were saying at first and foremost. That was great. That was a great way to twist that, Jay. That was amazing. I'm not gonna lie, Jay. I'm not gonna lie. That was amazing. The way you twisted, hey, I'm not gonna lie, Asia. The way he flipped that, because that was not the argument at all.
It was not.
But I think
hey, even Lewis got quiet. Lewis said, and Lewis looked to the left twice. He was like, he wants some shit today. He wants some shit today. I'm gonna tell you right now.
In context, I think that's all he had to offer as a person. In that movie, in that context, I don't think Denzel had more to offer than being a provider. So it may not have been necessary, but I don't think he's proven that he thought otherwise that entire movie.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people get it.
Yeah, but I think that's the problem, though. I think the problem is that when Denzel was in that situation and he was raised that way and brought up that way of how he was moving, we don't understand the collateral damage that we pass down to our kids by giving them shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Denzel didn't understand in that moment, like, oh, I don't have to like you. Nobody said that was false.
Trauma. Yes.
Why the fuck did you have to say that?
He should have.
Now you're going to put in his kid, and when he go talk to his son, I don't have to like you. And then
but he should have explained what the message. He didn't know how to articulate what his intentions were in that moment. He can say that and explain, hey, I don't have to like you, but I do these things because I love you. Like, he wasn't vulnerable enough. He didn't make himself vulnerable enough to give him the information. But that's the point that I was making. Like, tough love is present, but you have to be able to explain why you're reacting that way. It's okay to say those things, but you have to be able to give the explanation and the understanding behind it as well. And that's like with my son. And I talked to Keenan. Keenan told me I did the right thing, by the way, so don't throw me under the bus. He told me I did the right thing taking him out the game. He said that.
Yeah, for sure. I did.
So
but I also said make sure you go back and explain. Like
you did.
Take your coach hat off and be a dad too.
You did. And big ups to you. And this is why it's great to have brothers like this around for real. Because I'm curious. I'm like, man, was I too hard? You know, so it made me feel good about the decision I made. So I think it's you have to be tough, but I think you also have to give the blueprint. And I think one thing that burns me up about maybe our culture is that like everyone's like, you got to get out of my house at 18. Well, damn, did you prepare them to leave? Did you give them research? Did you give them financial education? Did you give them financial education? Did you create an environment to show them how to function on their own at 18? Right? We're so tough that we're so focused on the end result that we're not even teaching them how to be successful. And that's the point. That's the point that I think is missed.
So can I ask you a question, Louis?
Fact, Louis. Fact.
Can I ask you a question? Because like both of y'all know, I've been on my own since I've been 19. My mom didn't put me out, but the way I live my life, I needed to be under my own roof. But can I ask you a question?
Shit. Yep.
I mean, it is what it is, bro. But let me, both of y'all. So can I ask this? If your son or daughter wanted to leave at 18, you didn't put them out, but you felt like they weren't ready, but they wanted to leave, would you let them go?
I have a choice legally.
You could, man. Okay, come on.
For me, hell no. Because I moved out at 19 too, and I've been on my own since I was 19. For me, if they wanted to make that choice, no. I'm not letting them make that choice. I'm bringing them back in. Listen, I get you want to do all that. If we have to get a house and get you a little separate spot in the back for you to start off, that's cool. You can be in the little shed, whatever. Like, I'm not doing that because it's like, kids, you're not ready mentally. Like Louis was saying, if you're preparing your kids from 13 up into 19, that's different.
But that's what I'm saying, Jay. You did
most of us are not.
No, I'm saying you.
Oh, if I prepared them
what I'm saying is
19?
You cross those boxes, and they say, "Hey, I want to move out." You're still uncomfortable with them moving out because 18, 19 is still early, whether you teaching them or not.
Yeah, I'm still telling them no.
I can't tell them. I mean, like, legally, I'm just thinking of legal shit.
I can't. Legal, illegal.
But I don't want. I'm gonna advise them not to. Right? I'm gonna create an environment like you don't have to leave. I don't want you to leave. You know. But But man, listen. I believe in free will. You know, God gives us free will. We live in a free country. I'm not gonna make you do anything because I want you to know that I'm gonna support you. And honestly, I think 18, you have to be at a point to where you're gonna be able to make decisions that you can live with. But I want them to know that I'll be here for them if him or her, if they fail, right? But I'm going to strongly advise them not to, but I'm not going to say, no, you're not going, because that may make them want to go a little bit more.
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to jail, and you can, like, whatever you want to say, you can goddamn take me legally, illegally, whatever.
So crazy, man.
Your ass ain't leaving. Because you ain't ready.
No,
but Jay, you don't get.
When would they be ready? Like, when would they be ready? And I'm only saying that because I think there comes a certain point if you have done all that you need to do as a parent, and you are confident in what you've done as a parent, right? At that point, you're being selfish. Like, and there's no other way to say it. Like, for instance, I've had to have a conversation with my father, and I said, "Dude, cut the cord, because for him, I'm still going to be baby girl."
Yeah,
I've been a grad.
Maybe that's what it is because I got girls. I feel your dad.
And it's true. I had to tell him. I said, Dad, you have to trust. At some point, you are going to have to trust that you have done what you needed to do as a parent, right?
Yeah,
because think about it. The same way that your newborn, right, needs you is very different than the way that your 8-year-old needs you, which is very different than the way that your 13-year-old needs you, which is very different than the way that your 18-year-old child or 18-year-old, kid will need you. It looks different.
That's true.
If they are changing, but you are not, you are being selfish. You're being selfish, and you're actually delaying I personally think you're delaying their developmental whatever it is, because then they're going to be too afraid to make their own decisions. They're going to every single decision that they make. They're going to have to call you for every single thing. And if I can be very honest, that's where you get mama's boy. That's where you get, girls that, that they have to call their dad for everything, or they're looking for a man that's just going to replace their father. They cannot stand on their own 2 feet because their parents did not give them the opportunity to mess up, right? To live their life, to be able to experience that. So I think
in fairness, I kind of want my daughter to call me for everything. Is that wrong?
Yeah.
Yes,
Nah,
absolutely.
I ain't gonna lie, Asia.
look,
Hey,
my-
real
Yes.
talk. The way
that
you put
doesn't
that,
go
Asia.
away.
The way Asia put that, that's real shit. I don't got nothing to say. You definitely shut me up on that one. That's real shit. I never thought about it like that. That's real.
I'm not.
And the way you instill that in your, and the way a father instills that in their daughter, Louis, to your point, like I call my dad for everything. My husband has a problem with it.
Everything.
Like for real, my car is like daddy versus husband. It's like, wait a minute, what am I here for? You know, because y'all know y'all and y'all egos, but that's daddy, you know, and that's how I was raised, and he was always there for me. So whatever you implement in your child right now, I think that's gonna stick with them regardless if you let them go or not.
I think it is our responsibility though. When my daughter gets married, because I had issues with like in-laws. I got problems, y'all.
Yo,
So
Louis, bro.
I'm about to light Lewis up, bro. I cannot wait till he finishes. Go ahead.
But all
Louis,
I'm saying is,
bro.
I think that it was. I would have a conversation with my daughter about that being her husband, because I see the value in my wife and and my wife depending on me. So I would have that conversation at that time. But up until then, I want my daughter to call me.
See, this is what I did. Lewis,
Look, Kenny, you've been waiting to light his ass up, bro.
Hold on, no. Hold on. Let me just run this back.
Go ahead, brother.
Hold on. Let me get this straight. So, first of all, I don't think the action of marriage should be when the mantle is passed. First and foremost, that's the dumb. I almost pulled a J and cuss. That's the dumbest thing we've. Okay, so what you're telling me is she can call you up until the day of, and all of a sudden on this day she needs a transition to talking to him as the priority person.
Not cold turkey, but she needs to understand, like, at that particular point, it's no longer just her. That's what marriage is, fool. Shit,
No.
it's an official
Idiot.
It's an official adjoining.
Hold on, Lewis. Let me finish, bro, because you already said your dumb stuff. Hold on, let me say this. So what you saying is,
hey, he on one now.
You want
don't let him
your
talk to you
daughter.
like that. I got your
I'm
back,
not. He about to sound crazy.
No,
you gonna let this official ceremony mean the start of something new? And
no,
yes,
it's not even that. Okay, so
I'm
let
gonna
me
be
ask
honest.
this question.
Brittany started all of this.
Why would you want your daughter to look at you as the go person for all that stuff that you said you wanted to call you for? If you've prepped, I get if you've prepped her, the daddy conversations, I get that. But for you on your end to say like, yeah, I would want her to do that. You wouldn't want that independency to be nowhere in there?
It's not that he don't want the independence.
Hold on, Jay, let him answer. Jay, don't help him out. Let him answer.
Okay, now I'm helping. Okay,
phone
a friend. Hey, Louis, phone a friend
if
you need me, bro. Phone a friend.
I'm good. I ain't worried about this pointy head Negro. Anyway.
Okay, but go ahead. Answer.
Okay.
Why y'all saying all that? I need you to answer it.
I'm sorry, brother. So I know that it is a bit unorthodox, but yeah, man, like I want her to be independent. I'm a teacher, but I still want my daughter to, for some reason, I want my daughter to I just want to be there for it, man. I don't know what it is. It's unorthodox. You can say it's wrong.
I wasn't challenging you wanting to be there for her. My question to you is, why would you want her to call you for every,
I don't know, man. This is what I want.
Because that has nothing to do with your daughter and everything to do with your validation. No?
Absolutely.
Oh, well, so you just
he never denied it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, he didn't admit it was dumb. He admitted that was his validation. Let's be real. He never said it was dumb. You said it was dumb.
I think
no, you said it was dumb.
Yeah,
no,
thank you.
I get what he's saying. I think
you don't.
I think the thing that got me is when he's saying like, oh, I would want her to call me. I get her always wanting to be taken care of. I get when she knows dad is going to fix it if he has to.
Hey, but Keenan, what I'm going to insert in here is that the only thing that y'all different on is perspective. You're speaking your perspective. That's it. He's talking from a place to where if that's what he wants, that's what he wants. Nobody can determine whether that's right or wrong but him, and you can't determine what's right or wrong but you. Asia and Brittany's point was like, if somebody's dependent on them, yes, it's selfish in certain aspects. We're not denying that. What we're saying is, though, you can't tell the man his point not valid because he's saying he wants his daughter to do that. That's not fair.
I never said his point wasn't valid.
You said it was stupid.
I heard dumb. I did hear dumb in there somewhere.
Yeah,
you said it was dumb.
You
said it was dumb.
I call him dumb, not it. Him. But anyway.
Okay. Yeah, that's personal. That's
Louis,
personal. We're not doing that.
Hold on, Jay. Hear me out, Louis.
Okay.
Real question though. Real question. But when you say that, what is it? Is it only because you only want that so you know that everything will always be taken care of, or is it a sense that like if she's doing that, you know that mantle of who's first in her life won't be passed? Because I
It
don't
ain't
think
about
that's
who's
what
first. It's the
I'm
control.
asking. I'm literally asking.
Yes, the control and security. I know if I'm there and I do it, it gets done.
That's I mean, he's speaking facts.
Look at
He's
Brittany
speaking
being a
truth
daddy's girl.
on
Look at
how he
her.
feels. No, I'm just saying because I like as he's talking, that's my father, right? So my dad has always taught me you don't have to want for anything. You don't need a man, you don't need a nigga for nothing. Like straight up, that's what he told me. You don't. Here's your independency. Here's how to change a tire, take out the trash, do what it is. This is what you need to do for you as a young lady. I don't want you to have to depend on a man for nothing. Stand on your own 2 feet. Why? Because he was speaking from his own experience and how he treated women before he met my mother and tied the knot or whatever. And he wanted to make sure that I wouldn't go out there and find a dude and depend on that dude and, married or not, because some marriages are not as strong as they should be. And I just feel like till this day, my dad when I got married, he told me, all right, listen, like this is your husband. He has a responsibility. Right? And my husband knows that. He tells me I have a responsibility. However, for 30 years or for 28 years, I was calling daddy. I got a flat tire. What do I do? I'm stuck. What do I do? You know what I'm saying? But
Brittany, my question to you is, why didn't you lean over and ask your husband that?
Because one, it was 28 years of doing something
Jay, Jay, you know what question I'm about to ask?
No. I get what Brittany's saying. I'm just saying, like, you never gave your husband a fair chance to even answer that question for you.
I didn't give him a fair chance. And that's where we had a conversation within our marriage. Like, hold on, there's boundaries to everything, right? So we had to come to that understanding. Okay, I can admit that I was wrong. And I had to take a step back and allow my husband to do these manly things. Why? Because he now has this role. And he's going to be a father to implement these things into that little girl that's sleeping in the room. And the little
That's a fact.
But see, as a dad, if my daughter were to call me,
boy that's sleeping in the room. So we have to there's a healthy balance. It's just a healthy balance. You have to understand
my daughter called me, I would say, hey, did you call your husband? Like, that's what I would have to steer her back in that direction, you know, because that's something that I needed. Like I've been him. You know what I'm saying? I'm with someone's daughter now. So like but until then, you know.
And I'll say something.
Okay. Hey, Louis, look to the left and blink twice if you still here, bro. Chill.
No, but I was going to say something to that too, because I think, Keenan, to your point, right? Because I don't think that it should necessarily wait until you're tying the knot, right? For that type of conversation. So something that like my dad will do. So my dad knows like my guy friends, right? And he respects them and so on and so forth. So we were having a conversation about me getting a gun, right? And my dad's question, he was like, You talked to Julius about that? What Julius think? All right, which one he think? Because here's the thing, my dad lives states away, right? So yes, that's my dad. However, the people that are in my life on a day-to-day basis, right? And I do have amazing male friends. So my dad trusts. So he's like, what he say about that? Or if I do have to go to like a car dealer or something like that, it's like, all right, you taking Eric with you? You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's stuff like that.
Got you.
So for me, I do know I'm still calling my dad. Let's not get twisted, right? But at the same time, even my dad, to Lewis's point, he will ask me, okay, did you also get the perspective of the other males in your life? Right? So that I know for me, like when I do get to the place where I'm dating and like, and so on and so forth, it's not going to be this big, a learning curve for me to be able to incorporate, you know, like, okay, let me ask him, right, his perspective, that type of thing.
Brittany, let me clarify this, AJ. I'm sorry, because I know, but real quick to Louis, let me clarify something something that I said to you, even though, you know, we do argue a lot, but let me just say this. I think your angle, and like Jay said, it is perspective based. It's kind of like, to your daughter, if you got to call me for everything, why do you have him? You understand what I mean? Like, I think, me personally, the pressure comes in where, like, her vibe will be to him, like, yo, if I got to call my dad for everything, what are you doing for me? Versus her having to call you. Do you understand what I mean?
I do, but, you know, I just feel how I feel about it, dog. I'm sorry.
No,
It
I'm
is
not
what
trying
it
to change
is.
it. I just want to clarify what I meant. I'm not trying
I
to
got
change
you.
how you feel. I'm trying to
I
clarify
feel
what I meant.
No, I'm with you. I mean,
I wasn't trying to change how you feel.
I could be
That's not
setting
for
her up,
me.
but I'm gonna have enough. I'll have enough respect for her and the marriage to know and understand how I should operate.
But not him. Just her in the marriage.
The marriage to him, both of them. I gotta
Hey, yo,
respect.
you
Listen,
childish.
man.
No,
I
Keenan being
told y'all.
childish right now. He being fucking childish.
Oh, I'm about to say, I know the problems.
He being
I know
real
the boundaries
childish.
that I wanted to set with my in-laws. So
Right.
I'm gonna be very cognizant of that whenever my daughter gets married. Very cognizant because I had boundaries.
And I think it's gonna come down to, and it does come down to just whatever your experiences have been, right? Like, so for instance, I have been out of the house. I've been out of New Jersey for quite a long time, even before I lived like in Miami. I was on the West Coast. I'm saying all that to say, to this day, when I talk to my dad, mind y'all, I talk to him basically every day. He asks me, "Baby girl, when you come home?" Sir, never. I'm not doing it. It's not happening.
Never, sir.
Right?
What?
He knows I'm never coming back home, but for him, he still has that, like, but you're my baby girl. And I'm like, Dad, I get that. And I love you for that. But I'm not. Right.
Go back home.
And so I'm not going back home. I'm not doing it.
So Asia, why won't you move back home though?
Yeah.
Not even with him though. Why won't you go back to Jersey?
Why would I? Oh, well, I left Jersey for a reason. I don't backtrack.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know that, but that's what's up.
But it's really, and it was nothing like that was crazy or anything like that. But for me, I saw me being in New Jersey. I'm like, I've lived in literally from North Jersey all the way to South Jersey, right? For me, there was nothing left there for me. Jersey didn't serve me. I was in Jersey for a period of time because that's where my parents chose to raise me, right? So for me, I needed to see more of the world.
Right.
And so for me,
that's dope.
So for me, I've been on my own journey. I never thought I would be in most of the places that I ended up in, right? Like even in Miami, and I told y'all this before, this is not my favorite place, you know? So
but you met Brittany though. That's what we talking about. You met Brittany though.
Yes, sir.
And that's my girl. Will be my girl, no matter where we live. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But and actually I was thinking about this when y'all were talking. This is the last thing I'll say on this. Okay, you got a favorite meal, right? That your mom cooks for you. Like your favorite meal. Okay. Now, the first time your lady goes, I know you like that such and such meal, I'm making for you. Y'all really have to look at her side, little like you sure you don't need to call my mom to like check in with that?
Man.
Like think about that, right? Because we've been talking about some big heavy stuff, but on a small level, if it's your favorite meal that your mama made for you, and your woman, she's like, babe, I know this your favorite meal, so I'm a handle
jumping off the ledge.
I know
boy.
that y'all gonna be like, so you're not gonna call oh no, it's not gonna taste the same.
Man.
Oh, I can take this one easy. I'm gonna use my grandmother though. I'm using my grandmother.
Yeah.
My grandmother, when she first met my wife, well, girlfriend at the time, wife now. You know you're gonna marry a country boy that like to eat, right? You had that conversation.
That's your grandma said?
We hosted Thanksgiving last year. We usually travel back home, right? Let me tell you how doubting my grandmother is. She sent my wife the recipes. Like, this is the joints. There you go. These are joints he likes.
That's what you need to do.
Boom, boom, boom. You straight. I'll cook if we coming down here, but you hosting, here it is. So with what you're saying, I understand. But the thing I'm saying is, back to Lewis's point, that respect level was already in place between my grandmother and my wife. Like, hey, look, here they are. If you need me, hit me. But I'm gonna go ahead and pass it over. These are the joints.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? If my wife was hosting, I'm like, hey, bro, grandma, it don't hit the same, bro. This macaroni and cheese watery, bro. Like, I might not sleep. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, man.
Yeah.
You touched on something.
Wildin', bro.
You said what?
Hey, Asia, you touched on something important, man, because, like, I had to learn quick.
I had to learn.
Yeah, I had to learn quickly that my wife's recipes and my family is just going to be different. Like, I just had to learn to accept it, you know? But what I do like is that when it comes to those things, we actually get to create and kind of build. Like, I get to take the best of what we got from here and the best of what we got from here. And I'm very fortunate. And this is something I looked at for my wife too before I made the decision to marry my wife. You know, I wanted to know if she could cook. Like she cooked for me a couple of times. Like that was important. That was a part of my decision making because it did matter to me whether she could cook or not. You know. And I told her when she first cooked, I'm bringing hot sauce because that makes everything taste good. So if I use it, I told her, I said, if you see me using hot sauce, you can't cook, sweetie. That's just the truth.
This man.
So
I'm just being honest.
I'm gonna tell you right now. For me, it was different because my mama could cook her tail off, and then when I met my wife, it was like a smooth transition.
Yeah, she could throw down. I'm not gonna lie.
Because my wife can throw down.
Yeah,
you feel me? So I was like, I said, we owning something right here. You know what I'm talking about? Like you done did something in that kitchen, girl.
Hey,
you know what I'm
Lewis.
saying? She introduced me to a whole lot of different stuff. So it was different for me. That was a smooth transition for me.
Bro, it's crazy because Brittany, it wasn't that she couldn't, she didn't cook at first. Bro, now she like world class. So you can learn that. But I never put it on the table as a requirement.
I don't know about learning. I didn't listen now.
Hey, Sneak, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but what was that baked ziti bowl?
Oh my God. Jay.
Hey, that time when I was up there, that baked ziti bowl.
Yeah, you told me you had me sleeping on the couch because of what you did.
What I did, Bo? You
don't remember we came back after we went out and you double banged that joint and left that little bit in there?
Oh yeah, that's probably my fault. But I ain't gonna lie. Baked ziti was good.
Hey,
you know, I'm a sucker for some home cooked food. My bad.
To all the women out, that's important. Like that stuff is important. These young dudes, they may not, but that's important. Like that was important for me. I'm glad my wife can cook. I feel very fortunate.
I realized, okay, that's a whole nother conversation. We're talking about fatherhood. I got you, Lewis, but
I'm just throwing it out there. For my kids, my kids got to eat.
Yeah, but I think that's a person thing.
Sorry.
Kids got to eat too.
So can you cook?
Oh, he tried to relate it to the kids as well.
They got to eat too, yeah. They got to eat.
Right, fatherhood. He's like, fatherhood. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm like, wow. Because Lewis say crazy stuff at everybody because he articulates well. We just leave it alone. But he be saying,
Keenan, we leave it alone. You don't.
No, I don't.
We leave it alone. We let it slide.
This joker saying out his mouth, that's important. No, so
the kids got to eat too, man.
Lewis, I know you playing, so I ain't even. I'm
okay, Agent Brittany, we waiting for the next question because they
I'm sorry.
Shit.
There is no next question. Okay, y'all play. Okay. Just kidding, but no.
They ain't never inviting us back again, bro.
No,
at all.
Y'all know we're gonna invite y'all back.
You know
exactly.
Y'all funny. Y'all started off real serious, right? And I was like, okay.
He was like, who is these niggas tonight?
Then I realized. I was like, all right, they good now.
Because y'all gotta realize when you working with two people that lie a lot, it only take a whole, you know what I'm saying?
No, fuck
you
that.
Working with people that be lying?
No, Brittany and Asia's on the line right now. Let's talk about lying. I came up here being my authentic self.
Can they close out their show first?
And you was sitting up here getting real hostile.
Jake, he don't ever need to get his hair retwisted. He never needs his hair retwisted. He only act like this when his hat is off. I swear to you. He ain't never like this with a hat on.
Okay.
Yo, it's crazy. All right. Oh, wait. Am I frozen now? See? Now I'm frozen. Now I'm frozen.
Up there, ass. He'll when he got his hair done. Boy, you can't do it when his hat on, but when it's off, it's off.
Now you frozen?
All right, I'm back. Okay, there we go. Y'all was y'all know how my service is over this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit like Jersey. But
it's
what
crazy because I literally just said I don't want to hear nothing, and you were still going. You were still
my bad.
Y'all ready for me to close this out?
I am.
Yes.
Go ahead. Jay, don't say it like you've really been waiting.
I have not. I'm capping. I ain't gonna lie. I'm capping. I haven't been waiting. I'm capping.
And this has been another episode of Small Talk. You already know, 2 queens, 3 kings, 5 perspectives. We will see you on the next episode. Bye.
Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all.
For real.
Appreciate y'all for having us.
Hey.